Welcome to Heroes United, Pantheon, where legendary heroes from Marvel, DC, Greek mythology and beyond come together in epic battles, unexpected team-ups, and thrilling adventures. The stars in the multiverse pulse with an ancient, foreboding energy, as if the cosmos themselves were holding their breath. In Eternia, the legendary castle Grayskull stood as a beacon of magic and power. Yet, its glow was dimmer than usual, its defenses trembling under the weight of an approaching crisis. On Earth, Superman flew above Metropolis, scanning the horizon with his keen eyes, his senses on high alert. Something was wrong, not just in his world, but across realities. As the epic unfolds, do not forget to subscribe, like and drop a comment for more historic pantheons. This is bigger than anything we've faced, murmured Superman, his voice heavy with concern. From the depths of space came a ripple that neither hero could ignore. It was an omen, a tear in reality, and it whispered one truth: worlds were colliding. And with this collision came a battle destined to shake the foundations of existence itself. In Eternia, He-Man, the mighty defender of Castle Grayskull, was enjoying a rare moment of peace. The skies were clear, and the fields of Eternia's kingdom shimmered in the golden sunlight. Yet, this serenity was shattered when the sorceress of Grayskull appeared before him in a burst of light. He-Man, a grave danger threatens all realms, she said, her voice trembling. A champion from another world is coming. His intentions are unclear, but his power rivals your own. If he cannot be reasoned with, you must stop him. He-Man tightened his grip on the sword of power. Who is this champion? He asked. The sorceress hesitated before speaking a name that echoed like a thunderclap. Superman. Meanwhile, in Metropolis, Superman received an urgent message from the Justice League. A mysterious surge of energy from another dimension had breached their world. Batman's analysis revealed a name tied to the disturbance: He-Man, Defender of Eternia. You might be facing your equal, Clark, Batman warned. But we've yet to understand his motives. Superman's expression hardened. I'll find him and ensure this doesn't escalate. But if he threatens Earth, I won't hold back. The collision of realms brought He-Man and Superman face to face in a barren wasteland where the skies swirled with chaotic energy. The ground beneath them cracked as their mere presence caused tremors. Superman landed gracefully, his red cape billowing behind him. Opposite him, He-Man stood tall, the sword of power gleaming in his hand. I don't want to fight you, Superman began, his voice calm but firm. But if you're a threat to Earth, I won't hesitate to stop you. He-Man's eyes narrowed. I could say the same about you. Eternia's safety is my responsibility. If you mean harm, I will defend my world with all my strength. Despite their words of caution, neither hero could ignore the overwhelming energy that compelled them toward conflict. The forces of the multiverse demanded a victor. Superman struck first, his fist moving faster than the eye could see. He-Man barely had time to block with his sword, the impact sending shockwaves across the battlefield. The sword of power absorbed the blow, but the force pushed He-Man back several feet. He-Man countered, swinging his sword with precision. The blade crackled with magical energy, and when it connected with Superman's chest, the Man of Steel staggered, momentarily stunned by the magic-infused attack. Yet, Superman's Kryptonian resilience allowed him to recover quickly. They exchanged blows that shattered mountains and split the skies. Superman's speed gave him an edge as he zipped around He-Man, delivering punches that could topple skyscrapers. But He-Man's warrior instincts and indomitable strength kept him in the fight, each swing of his sword forcing Superman to stay on the defensive. The tide began to turn when He-Man unleashed the full power of Grayskull. Channeling the castle's magic through his sword, he struck Superman with a beam of energy that bypassed his invulnerability. Superman cried out as a magical blast sent him hurtling into a nearby mountain. Gritting his teeth, Superman rose from the rubble, his suit scorched but his resolve unbroken. He realized that He-Man's strength was matched by his connection to a source of power that Superman could not fully comprehend. Yet, he also knew that his solar-fueled abilities were far from depleted. "You're strong," Superman admitted, his voice steady. "But I've faced gods before. I'll find a way to win." As the battle raged, Superman's tactical mind began to analyze He-Man's fighting style. He noticed that He-Man's power was heavily reliant on the Sword of Power. Determined to exploit this, Superman used his heat vision to create a diversion, then accelerated with blinding speed to disarm his opponent. The tactic worked. Superman's grip closed around the hilt of the sword, wrenching it from He-Man's grasp and hurling it far into the distance. For the first time, He-Man looked vulnerable. "Your strength is impressive, but without your sword, can you still fight?" Superman asked, his tone almost apologetic. He-Man clenched his fists, his muscles tensing. "I don't need the Sword of Power to protect my people." What followed was a pure test of raw strength and willpower. Superman and He-Man engaged in hand-to-hand combat, their punches creating craters and sending shockwaves that could be felt across dimensions. Superman's speed allowed him to land more hits, but He-Man's durability and combat training kept him in the fight. Despite He-Man's resilience, Superman's Kryptonian physiology gave him the edge. Powered by Earth's yellow sun, he had an almost limitless reserve of energy. With one final, devastating punch, Superman sent He-Man crashing to the ground, creating a massive crater. He-Man struggled to rise, his body battered but his spirit unbroken. Superman stood over him, extending a hand. "This fight is over," Superman said, "but I'd rather have you as an ally than an enemy." The battle ended not with animosity, but with mutual respect. He-Man retrieved his sword, and the two heroes stood side by side, their differences resolved. They understood that their fight had been orchestrated by forces beyond their control, and together, they vowed to confront the greater threat looming over their worlds. As they shook hands, the multiverse seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. Two champions had clashed, but their unity would prove to be an even greater force.